مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. أعزائي طلاب الصف التاسع، مرحبا بكم مرة أخرى، وبسم الله نبدأ درسا جديدا. Dear students, today we are going to study grammar, the present perfect simple versus the past simple. The objectives are: 1. To know the form and the use of the present perfect simple, and to differentiate between the present perfect simple and the past simple. So, what is the difference between these two sentences? He visited London in 2019, and he has visited London 2 times. Think about it. If you look to the timeline between the past and the present, if we said in 2019 he visited London, this is a specific time. Here the time is definite, الوقت محدد. While when we say he has visited London 2 times, here the time is indefinite, الوقت غير محدد. So when we say he visited London in 2019, it's a simple past tense. While when we say he has visited London 2 times, it's a present perfect tense. So when to use the present perfect? We use the present perfect for action that happened in the past, and the results are obvious now, and we don't mention when they happened. For example, he has broken his leg. So this sentence means he broke his leg, for example, last week. His leg is still broken in the present. So when we say he has broken his leg, this is an action that happened in the past, and it is true until now. And for further information, let us watch this video together.
What is the present perfect? The present perfect is unfinished time. What is unfinished time? Unfinished time is an unbroken connection between the past and the present. A good way to understand it is to compare unfinished time with finished time. With finished time, we use the past simple. I went to Paris last year. Last year is finished time. But look at this sentence. I have been to Paris twice. Here the context is unfinished time. What is the unfinished time? Here you're talking about experiences in your life. Your life is unfinished time, so we use the present perfect. When you are dead and you are spoken about at your funeral, they will say, he loved France, he visited Paris many times. Finished time, game over. Unfinished time can be clearly seen in this present perfect sentence. I have lived in Paris for 5 years. You moved to Paris 5 years ago and you still live there now. This is unfinished time. Compare it with finished time. I lived in Paris for 5 years before moving back home to Moscow. You lived in Paris for 5 years, but you don't live there now. So when you find yourself asking, what is the present perfect? Remember that the present perfect is unfinished time.
So how about the form of the present perfect? Here is the form of the present perfect. We have verb to have plus past participle. So we have I have, he, she, it has, they, we, you also have. This is for the affirmative case. And for the negative case, have becomes haven't and has becomes hasn't. For example, I have traveled around the world, or he hasn't traveled around the world. And as for the questions in the present perfect, it's like this. We start the sentence with have or has, then followed by the subject, and after that we put the verb in the past participle. For example, have I traveled around the world? Has he traveled around the world? Or have you traveled around the world? Also, we can use haven't or hasn't for a negative question. Now, let's go to student book, page 19. Exercise D, complete with the present perfect simple or the past simple of the verbs in brackets. Number 1. You ever try Kelly's strawberry cheesecake? As you can see, this is a question. And here we have the word ever. It refers to the present perfect. So the question will be, have you ever tried Kelly's strawberry cheesecake? B. No, I never have. So it becomes I takes have, we put never as it is, and we bring the past participle from have. So the answer will be I have never had. But I have some of her chocolate cake a few weeks ago. Here we have the word ago. It refers to the past simple. So, but I had. Number 4 is also a question formation. Here the context. السياق لا زال متصلا. So it is past simple. So the question will be like this. Did you like it? He said, no, I didn't. Because we put didn't when we talk about the simple past negative. It too sweet. Be in the past simple either was and were. With it we take was. It was too sweet. Well, Kelly made a cheesecake last night. Last night is an expression of the past simple. So Kelly made. And it be lovely. Again, it was lovely. After that, number 9, I always want to learn how to make cheesecake. This is an indefinite time. So we say I have always wanted. And now let us move to the listening part. A. Answer the following question. What do you know about video calls? Do you make video calls? If you do, why? If you don't, why not? These questions is for you, my friend, to think about at home. Now, let's listen to a part of a radio program and answer the questions, choosing A, B, C, or D.
3. Listen. B. Listen to part of a radio program and answer the questions. Choose A, B, C, or D.
Picture Call is a software program with which users make online video calls and voice calls, send instant messages and share files and photos. To create a Picture Call account, you give your name, email address and your date of birth. You don't have to give your home address, but you need to give the country where you live. Picture Call is free for anyone with access to the internet. There is also a cheap rate if someone wants to call mobiles or landlines anywhere in the world. Users can also send cheap text messages and make group video calls with up to 10 people. Picture Call is easy to use, doesn't take long to feel familiar. Picture Call is used by people of all ages, and even older people who may not feel comfortable about using computers are happy to chat and see family in another country. Picture Call is used as the main way of communication by 25% of small businesses. What is more, Picture Call is a great way to have job interviews with companies anywhere in the world from the comfort of your own home.
So, number 1. Which of the following information is not needed to create a Picture Call account? A. Your country. B. Your date of birth. C. Your home address. D. Your email address. As you know, if you want to make an account, you don't need to give your home address. 2. What does the text say about phone calls through Picture? A. They don't cost a lot. B. You don't have to pay for them. C. You must send text messages before making a call. D. You can only make calls to someone who is in your country. And if you pay attention, you will know that the answer is A. They don't cost a lot. 3. According to the speaker, why are older people happy with the Picture Call? A. Because they enjoy using computer. B. They can use it from their own home. C. They are familiar with this kind of technology. Or D. They can talk to their relatives who live abroad. And if you pay attention closely, you will know the answer is letter D. They can talk to their relatives who live abroad. So, dear students, by this we come to the end of this lesson. أتمنى أن تكونوا قد استفدتم منها. دمتم في أمان الله.
مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.